Coming up with storage in your house can seem tricky, especially if you feel like you have no storage space in your house to begin with. Well, I have some tricks for you. In this video, I'm going to walk you through some ways to break some organizing habits so that you can start getting your house clutter-free for real. Hey there, I'm Jessica, the Organized Mama. I'm a family organizing expert that helps you with organizing tips, tricks, and tutorials the entire family can do. One of the biggest things that I have found is that you get into a routine and you don't change it because it's what you've always been doing. But that routine might not always work with your current situation. Let me give you an example. So you are coming home after a very busy day. Everybody's been out at school, at work, you've got groceries, you come home and everything ends up on the kitchen counter. Like everything, backpacks, lunch boxes, the masks, all of those things end up on the kitchen counter. And you start to feel like there is no space in your house and you just have limited storage for all of your things. But instead of looking at the storage of your actual items, start looking at your routines for how you put things away. Your family might have gotten into the habit of bringing everything into the kitchen when you have a spot that's like a dumping ground or a mud room, or even if you expect the kids to bring their stuff up to their bedrooms where they can do their homework or their backpacks go or any of that kind of stuff, you've fallen into a routine or habit of just leaving everything in the kitchen. And so that's a habit that needs to change in order for you to feel more confident about storage in your home. Now, your kitchen is where everything always happens. It's the biggest area that I get from so many people saying, I just have too much stuff on my counters. I have too much stuff in my kitchen. I have no storage space in my kitchen. If we take a step back and we look at what's actually being stored in the kitchen, you will see you do actually have a lot of space. You just might not be using it the right way because of the habits that you have started and are using inside your home. So to change those habits, we need to first identify what isn't working. And so we're going to use the kitchen as an example because this is such a big one. So with your kitchen, you say you have no storage space, there's no room for anything. So let's assess the kitchen situation. So I've seen this happen a lot. Inside your cabinets, you are using one of your biggest drawers, or maybe your only drawer, as the Tupperware lids or the baggies or a junk drawer, right? So you're using a large drawer for something that really doesn't need to be in your kitchen. We've talked about that and you can watch that video right up here on why you do not need a junk drawer. Seriously, you don't need it. So by removing that junk drawer, you can give yourself some space in that giant drawer for something that is more kitchen appropriate, like kitchen utensils or kitchen gadgets. All those things could be used in a drawer that would reduce clutter on your counter space. But then I hear you say, but then what do we do with the baggies? Put the baggies maybe in a cabinet and use a product to help you keep them organized. Maybe you use a bin or a basket to keep them organized by putting them in a cabinet where you have more space. Also, check your cabinets. Are you using the cabinet shelves that you can actually reach for items you actually need? I've found that so many of my in-home clients and my readers and subscribers have items on their bottom two shelves that are more accessible that they don't use every day. If you don't use platters or china or all of the glasses, then maybe move them up a couple of shelves. And when you actually need them, you can get the step stool out to grab them, but they don't need to be taking up space on your prime real estate, right? Those cabinets and shelves that are right where you can reach them, those items should be things that you use daily. And by just changing that organizing habit, you are going to see that you have more space in your kitchen than you actually thought. So I had an in-home client. We were setting up her kitchen and we put all of her plates and bowls on the bottom two shelves in her cabinet. And she said, honestly, we don't use those. We use paper plates when, we actually eat at home. So she didn't want them on her bottom shelves. And she said that was one of her problems with keeping things organized in her kitchen. So when we moved things around so that it worked for her family, she actually had more space in her kitchen than she thought, because we removed items that she didn't use every day up to higher cabinets, and then the items that she did, we left where it was easily accessible. By making that one tweak in flip-flopping some of her shelves in her cabinet, we gave her more space than she was accustomed to. So we changed one habit, which is where you put things away, and by doing that, we gave her more space in her kitchen. It really is interesting when you start to look at your space with new eyes and you see what you've been doing and you just tweak it. So by changing that habit, you're going to be using the space that you have in a more effective way. And I know it sounds scary at first because there is some work that goes into it. But once you get going, you're going to see that you actually have way more space in your house than you expect. And you're going to find that you have a lot of clutter that you don't need to keep in your house at all. So as you start to tweak your organizing habits, I want you to start letting go of things. If you're feeling very overwhelmed by the amount of items inside your home, then that is where you need to treat this kind of as like a downsize. So you need to start parting with more things than you are comfortable with. By limiting what you have, you are going to give yourself more space. Shocking, I know. But when you start to reduce the amount of extra items, now I'm not talking about the things you use every day, but let's be realistic here. And I'm going to stick with the kitchen because this is where I feel like so many people say I have no space. And when you actually declutter, you find you have so much space. You just had a lot of clutter. So in your kitchen, you might have a whole bunch of kitchen gadgets, and some of these gadgets take up a lot of space. If you have like even big gadgets, they can take up like a whole drawer or cabinet all by themselves. If you have a lot of like serving platters or serving dishes, all of those take up so much space. China, heirlooms being passed down from families, all of that typically ends up in your kitchen. So really looking at everything that is in your kitchen and if it actually serves a purpose in your kitchen. If you have china that you only use for a specific holiday, or you only use it at, this time of year, then maybe it doesn't need to be in your kitchen in order for it to be useful. Maybe it needs to be put in a storage area, or maybe it needs to be put into a separate area of your home where you will know to get it when you actually need it. So let's talk about like gravy boats. How often do you use that gravy boat? And I know I can hear you saying, but a gravy boat's so small, like it doesn't really matter. Well, when you have a bunch of small things like gravy boats, they do end up taking up a lot of space, making you feel like you don't have space in your home because you have a whole bunch of little things. But if you put those items with other items that you use for that specific meal or time of year, then you are giving yourself more space in your kitchen, which is what was causing you the overwhelm in the first place. Some of it might seem counterintuitive because so many people are like, oh, you just need bigger, you need more, you need all of this stuff. But that's not necessarily true. So I really want you to be mindful about how you think of your space, because you do have so much space in your home. You just need to clear the clutter and change or tweak your organizing habits to find more space in your home. Love what you see? Don't forget to subscribe. New videos every Wednesday.